Welcome to the Troxel Podcast. I'm Evan Troxel, and a little bit of housekeeping before we get into today's episode. The Troxel YouTube channel has been a mess for the last couple of years, ever since Google changed the way that they do podcasts. So it used to be Google Podcast. Since then, it's all moved over to YouTube. And I unwittingly played along and added my RSS feed of the podcast to my main channel. And that's when things pretty much became unhinged. And the reason I bring this up is because if you've been getting the podcast version of this show from my main YouTube channel, that audio is no longer there. I've moved it to a new audio-only channel. You can still get the video version of the show on my main channel. Anyways, there are links in the show notes to both channels, and I could really use your help building Troxel's YouTube presence by going there and subscribing. It's totally free, and it's a great way to help get the show exposed to more people in our industry. Okay, in this episode, I welcome Mirco Bianchini. Mirco is an Italian architect who relocated to Sydney about a decade ago and has spent the years since going progressively deeper into the technology side of AEC. He was an early Grasshopper adopter, one of the first wave, and that curiosity about automation pulled him out of design and into fabrication, then into back-end development and product management inside some of the largest engineering firms in the world. For the past 15 plus years, he's been working at the intersection of computation and construction. And lately, his attention has landed squarely on what AI tools can actually do for the people who build things. In this episode, we talk about the pace of AI development and why AEC technologists are underestimating it. We get into LLMs, democratizing computational design, model context protocol, MCPs, as a practical bridge between siloed data and everyday workflows, the intimidation of the command line interface and how to get past it, and the concept of the second brain for firms sitting on mountains of unstructured project knowledge they've never been able to use. What I found most valuable from this conversation is Mirco's argument about where the industry has its attention pointed. The AEC conversation around AI tends to focus on the glamorous outputs, model generation, renders, automated deliverables. Mirco keeps pointing at the operational layer underneath. Email threads, reports, institutional knowledge that walks out the door with experienced architects and engineers, fragmented project data that never talks to itself. That's where he sees the real untapped opportunity. And he's also sharp about what actually separates firms from one another over the long run. It's data. The quality of it, the depth of it, how you've used it to make decisions and serve clients. As usual, there's an extensive amount of additional information and links in the show notes, so be sure to check that out. You can find it directly in the podcast app if you're a paid supporter of Troxel Plus. And if you're a free member, you can find them over at the website, which is trxl.co. So without further ado, I bring you my conversation with Mirco Bianchini. Mirco, welcome to the podcast. Great to have you.
Thanks, Evan. Pleasure to be here.
Before we jump into your story, your journey in AEC, like the last time we talked what, like a month ago?
I think it was before Christmas time. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So nothing's happened since then, right? No, it's all. I'm just thinking, like, we were talking about Claude Code. Since then, like even today, new models out today, right? That makes things cheaper to use. And you were pretty excited about Claude Code, and you're like, oh my gosh, MCPs and this and that. And I think there's some things that the AEC profession is kind of, technologists in the AEC profession are sleeping on, right? Like they're not really aware of the potential here. I'm just thinking of like what's happened since, in the last 2 months. It's been absolutely kind of incredible, like the pace at which things change, which I think, a lot of our conversation today could just be about just kind of trying to stay current so that when the new things come out, like you're ready to look at the new things, because the longer you wait, it's moving so fast that you're going to have a lot to catch up on if you just continue to kind of stand on the sidelines and watch. I would just love to hear your comments on that, and then let's get into your story.
Yeah. On the technical side, I think stuff they are going very fast. You also, I don't know if you follow the story of the multi-agent ModClaw, how it's called. They changed the name 4 times.
OpenClaw now is the new name. Yeah, right.
The new name that has, he now is start to work for OpenAI. But yeah, you have every day something new. Every day a new model. every day.
From multiple companies at the same time, like within 20 minutes of each other. New models coming out. Claude launched Cowork since we talked, right? Which is a whole
That is
other thing.
an interesting thing. I was looking to test it in particular to see if he's able to work on software. I mean, to clicking on software that we have in on our laptop, and so try to automate some of the tools that are not automatable. The one that you are not able to use an API, or they don't have an SDK that you can automate. The famous legacy programs that we have in this industry that are still very used across many departments, and that is something that I was really thinking to try, and very curious to look at the possibility. That is another branch of where AI can help literally automate all that aspect of legacy softwares.
It's really cool to see. I mean, I don't think I've had this much fun playing with technology in a long time where you're right. It's like now because you can control things on your computer with it through natural language, I think wow, we're starting to see some really interesting things for kind of normal people to use, right? Like it's a new interface for interfaces that we've been using for maybe decades, right? Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. And on the other side, as you were saying, Claude Code, keep adding new things. I think there are massive opportunity there. The other industry seems they go faster. Has opposite of ours, but that is our industry, how it works. But I think there is big opportunity. I mean, the opportunity is literally try, and it shouldn't be related potentially of what we do. I think we have now the opportunity to learn more on try this tool on stuff that are not related exactly of our work. Always, try with things that we need every day. Most of the people, they just chatting, but then try to do something more. And I guess Claude Code give this environment that allows you to try multiple things, and then as you were mentioning, MCP skills that they can open even more the possibility that we can look for.
Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into the name Claude Code and how it's kind of not a good name for maybe everything that it can do, right? But I want to learn more about you. So Mirco, maybe you can give us an introduction more to yourself and kind of your journey in AEC.
Yeah, so I studied as an architect, as many of ours. I'm a people that coming in a strange journey at some point. But I studied as an architecture, and then I start to work for a very big firm in Italy for a couple of years. And during that period, I also start to discover computational design, and I was very keen to try to understand on how to automate aspect of the design part of the projects, and so I was lucky to have a person introduce me in Grasshopper, show me what it was Grasshopper, and then I start to build up on there. Make course, try to understand how to use it, how to expand it. But at some point, I realized that it's fun, the design aspect and also the communication aspect of the project, but I was seeing a lot of potential to take that learning at the end of the chain, so on the fabrication aspect. And so I start to look around, and I find a very interesting firm in Sydney. The name is Arma. And so I moved here. I moved in Sydney, where I'm still living after 10 years. I start to work for Arma, and the core of the business was literally delivering automation in the fabrication stage. So we were, taking all the information from the builders, the architect, and make the fabrication drawings for the final consultant, but through a very detailed model that we manage with fully automation also in the deliveries part. And then along that journey, we were having the opportunity to work with big partners, and then is where I start to dip my hands in coding even more, back-end coding, learning about product manager, working in agile way with different team, different skills, different knowledges, and from there, I saw another opportunity. I say, okay, I see architects, they tend to try more of these things. I think the market is a little bit shorter, I would say, in that side. So I look at more on the engineer aspect, on the engineer side of the supply chain. And so I moved to Mod McDonald, where I was leading a team of the computational designers, and we were trying to do what everyone tried to do, go on project and try to automate aspect, extract that information, make more repeatable, make more reusable for other project, and eventually scale some of these solution to a product that can be reused across all the business. We were releasing an internal libraries, but the usual thing that we try to do has computation and developer inside this industry. And then from there, I moved to ACOM, where I'm currently leading a data science and developer team. Has digital product manager. So again, looking to extrapolate repeatable opportunity in product that can be reused. So in the real sense of product development, try to create a product that can be reused internally as much as possible.
So when you originally made that kind of, well, it's been a journey, right? So you started in Grasshopper, and then you went deeper and deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole of technology, coding, development, product, stuff like that. Give me an idea of the time frame that you've done that for.
More than 15 years.
Okay.
I'm close to 20.
All right. So,
because I started very early in the process of Grasshopper. It was literally, I started after it came out, a year or 2 years after that it came out. Yeah.
And I mean, Grasshopper is obviously still very much about geometry, right? So it sounds like the things that you wanted to do were lower level than that. Like you're actually getting into coding applications that do specific things. And I mean, that's probably a lot more powerful than what you can do with scripting in Grasshopper, right? So, I mean, obviously there's code nodes, like you could do Python nodes and things like that in Grasshopper, but it sounds like you wanted to do stuff that was maybe more powerful than that. I don't know how you would describe it, but different.
I think the point is on the scalability of the solution. So I see Grasshopper a great tool for do quick solution, prototype
Sure.
quick solution. Yes, they can have the UI interface, but are very difficult to maintain in a sort of sense. If you think about the versioning, is very complicated. There are solutions, we saw some solution that can help to identify where there are the changes, but is no code. Okay, I mean, is code but in another level, and so
Sure.
that aspect of the versioning is very complicated. The aspect of also releasing and adopting and using the solution has a sort of complication in itself, because you need to be in Revit and use Grasshopper. So at least you need to teach the final user to open Rhino.
There's a lot
Revit,
of levels.
open Rhino, open
Right.
Rhino and open Grasshopper, run the application, and if something happen, you can have messages. You can try to explain what's happened. The easy part, of course, is that you're already in the application. You can jump and fix it, but you have to know how to do it. And, there are multiple levels that it is not a fully product that you can control and maintain. Yes, you can add things, but it tend to become more a sort of Frankenstein of elements that is very complicated to maintain.
Yeah, like you said, it's great to prototype, and it's great to tinker with, right? It's great to have like the ability to get under the hood and like rewire something or try different ideas out and things like that. But when you need to deploy it to a larger organization, it starts to get really complicated to keep those things up to date. Who authored it? Who knows how this works? you can't, it's harder to audit, right? It's like all of those kinds of things. Yeah.
But also the, tracking the usage. Again, okay, you can add components that they can do it, but it seems always that you had extra layer of a sort of complexity, is more plug-in elements instead of trying to have a proper flow of a proper orchestration of a product with, all the abstraction that you need, all the infrastructure and structure that you need, and also, the working for big enterprise, you have the aspect of releasing these tools in a compliance way. They have to be secure, and so that is a complexity that is very difficult to maintain in a Grasshopper definition or Dynamo definition. But for prototyping and for quick iteration, for quick testing, for extracting the knowledges, testing on project, making robust that you have the solution, you know what you need, I think are amazing tools. The point now is what is going on with, the advance of large language model. That is something that will be interesting.
So we pay our respects to David Rutten and Grasshopper and the Rhino team. I mean, absolutely, like you said, incredible and huge respect. And it's also interesting to see what kind of tools have blossomed out of a place that started like Jesper Wahlgren's Finch, right? For example, I mean, it's a tool that started as a bunch of Grasshopper scripts, and now it's something huge, way beyond that. Other tools like Giraffe have come out of, people who were originally Grasshopper tinkerers, right? It's absolutely incredible to see some of the stuff. So, okay, so let's talk about LLMs. Let's talk about what's really exciting for you right now, because when we connected first, it was like, wow, there's something here with the potential with LLMs and with Claude Code, maybe more specifically, and you have built several different tools that, I know that are kind of AEC specific, but you said also things that are just everyday life kind of things as well, right? Just to solving problems using a tool like that. And that's pretty interesting, right? To have access to a tool that on some level operates with normal language commands and conversation almost, right? Like you're bouncing ideas back and forth, and it can basically span the gamut of highly professional things to everyday things. I think that's pretty incredible. So let's talk about what has been kind of your passion in the last few months, I guess, or maybe years that is really getting you excited about where technology is going.
I mean,
it's a big list.
That is a big list, but I mean, if we start from the aspect of large language model, I really like the possibility that they are going to open to one, democratize some aspect of automation, and that is, get related a bit of on the Grasshopper and Dynamo aspect. The possibility of I think they make computation. They make everyone computational designers. So computational design is not going to be any more related, I think, to a specific tools, as it is the beam manager. That is, tendency is to say beam manager equal Revit or computational design equal Grasshopper and Dynamo. I think there is going to democratize more that aspect, because then everyone can literally with large language model create a little automation and help on what they need to do on the spot and create little portfolio for themselves that they can use, on the day-to-day. Of course, open other conversation that is, we should try to understand how these automation can be taken and move it to a level that have been reused by everyone, the one that are more, consumer, that have more similarity. Yeah, it open all these conversation, but at the same time, there is the aspect that now you can really quickly create this automation that potentially is literally consume and destroy, consume and redo. And and so is literally a very fast create, use, and destroy or redo, readjusted So it changed that level of conversation. The other aspect that I'm very interested in is on the opportunity on expand or make connection to a different level. When I say connection, I'm thinking more connecting data between different teams. So one of the aspects of of this industry is that there is a lot of fragmentation. Many teams work with different tools, different format. Having the possibility of agents in between that help on flow this data in the right way, because they do that sort of translation for you, or they extract only the part that you need, is something that I'm not saying is possible right now. I mean, it's possible. Obviously, has limitation because the technology is growing, but I see the value of investigating on that side.
Hey everyone, I want to take 30 seconds to talk about something that really matters to me. This podcast exists because I believe this industry deserves better conversations. No agenda, no corporate backing, just honest, in-depth dialogue with the people actually shaping where AEC is headed. More than 25,000 of you listen to this show, and less than 50 of you are direct supporters of what I'm doing. And I'm not saying that to make you feel guilty. I'm saying it because if this kind of independent media matters to you, if these conversations have ever changed how you think or introduced you to someone worth knowing, then the most direct way to keep it going is to become a Troxel Plus member. $12 a month, ad-free episodes, the full Leadership Edge newsletter with my deep dives and the things I don't say on the podcast, and the knowledge that you're one of the people making this possible. Head over to the website at trxl.co and click the join button. And either way, I'm really glad that you're here. Now let's get back to today's conversation. Could you give kind of an example maybe of a potential kind of a connection that you're talking about, just to help people visualize maybe an idea? It could be anything.
Yeah. So one of the simplest things that I think about is, there is this concept of MCPs, that is Model Context Protocol, that in a very simple way has been always described as sort of wrapper around APIs. APIs is this aspect, is this technology that this industry still, I think, scratches his hand in a sort of way. They know they exist, but the usage is not so diffuse as it should be. And every time that we talk about API is very, related to development. You need someone, maybe an IT, someone with development knowledge to do something. And so that is something that is where the conversation start to slow down. There is a problem, obviously, of budget, everything that is related on that. So MCPs that create this wrapper around the API, and then it can connect with, is a tool used by the large language model, open the possibility of using in plain English some APIs, and so directly interact with some information that you can extract. So example, you've wrapped an API for extracting data from models. And so in a simple way, you can just ask, okay, go to this model, extract these data or specific metadata that you have in the model, and now on the fly, because there are other MCPs or large language model is able to construct XML and visualize that data, you can also have visualization dashboard or app, because now there is MCP app that takes the data and convert that data in a app on the fly, and so you have that interaction on the information that you extract. So and once you identify, for example, part of that information, you can take it and push it using another MCP to someone else, or convert it in a format that you want to present. So there is this way of consuming, converting, pushing, and managing data that I think it would be very interesting to discover more, to going a little bit deeper on that?
Yeah, I mean, for example, like so because of your initial kind of catalyzing conversation with me, it pushed me to install Claude Code, install a Notion MCP. So my whole life is inside of Notion. All of my show stuff for the Troxel podcast is inside of Notion. Everything's inside of Notion. And so now, because I installed the Notion MCP, of course, I could use AI in Notion, but if I wanted to connect it, say, to Slack or some other tool and talk to it, so now it's pretty interesting because I can actually take a look at what's inside of a project in Notion, and I can talk to it in Slack, for example, because of the connection that I've made. And I can just say, like, hey, find me the episodes where I talked about large language models, for example, and it'll pull up a list, and then I can have a conversation with it about these kinds of things. And I built that not by knowing how to code, not by building an app, but just through conversation. It's like, well, just show me this. Oh, well then, okay, if you can show me that, then it starts to get your gears turning. Like, oh, what can I do with this? And then you can start to kind of dig and dig and dig. And I think what's so interesting is you can tell it to do something like a command, but you can also ask it to show you how to do something. It can also teach you how to do it. So you don't have to go out to the internet and dig through forums and dig through podcasts or dig through Reddit boards or anything like that and very trial and error, right? You can just say, hey, do this. And I think what's then super interesting is like, okay, go ahead and do that. And it will try to do it. And if it can do it, great. And if it can't, it'll look for another way to do it. It'll say, oh, that didn't work. I'm going to come up with a new strategy and I'm going to do that. And I think it's really fun to watch. You can actually watch it think because it's telling you as it goes along what it's doing, what it's trying, what's working, what's not working. You would have gone through all of those same steps yourself, but it's doing it very quickly. And I find that it's just kind of freeing to feel like, oh, I'm helping orchestrate. It's a collaborator in that sense. Like it's doing things on your behalf. It can go out and do research. It can come back. It can show you the results. It can give you some questions. You can make a decision. It's like, do you want to do this, this, or this? Oh, I want to do this. Okay. Or you could say, no, I want to do a combination of these two things. I think that's what's so interesting about it is kind of the collaborative nature of using tools like these.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And also on doing that, you discover what you need. And so that is the moment where you start to think about, creating your custom agent, creating your skill specific to do something. Maybe, you have a specific template. And so you create the skills that follow the template that you want.
Right.
Or you create an agent that orchestrates multiple skills and commands to do all the workflow that you want for a specific task that you identify. Based on this point, there is this idea of compound engineering that has been shared through a team that is called Every, and then this idea is also transitioning inside Claude Code teams, and that way of developing is literally based on multiple agents calling skills, calling commands, and doing. And what you have to do is just following the steps that you were already doing in the past, but obviously manually thinking through it. But the step
very linearly.
Very
right? You did this step and then this step and this step, and now you can just say do those steps, and you can basically say, okay, I want to do all these steps, but I want to call it's a skill. That skill gets a name, whatever that command is, and then it just does it. Right? It does all those things in that order exactly as you have done it in the past, except now it's all in one command. It's like a button. It's like you made a button.
But and going through that process is very interesting because that you have the brainstorming process. So you brainstorming your idea, then you have these MD file, a markdown file, or whatever file you want. You read it through it. You try to understand. Maybe you tweak it or you iterate it. And then you go in the plain mode where you try to have the full plan of what you need to do. And then you go in the work stage where you do, of course, the agent is going to do the work. I think the only part that at the moment I hear about and also I am experiencing is that there is, at the moment, your brain is not capable to control multiple, workflow that they goes in parallel, because you can literally work on multiple workflow in parallel. And plus, there is a lot of reading before to, commit on an operation if you want to be sure, or otherwise, as there are other flow of thinking is that, no, I don't check anything. I don't want to know what there is the code behind. Go ahead.
Go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If it works, it works. But on the connection that you were explaining before, that is another topic that I really like it, because is the creation of your second brain, the possibility of, start to collect all your thought or your listening on podcast or paper that you read, books, whatever you collect in one place, and then you create your helper, your agent that help you to search, to think about it, to connect points, dot patterns, and that is very interesting. And I guess it has an interesting correlation with the construction industry as well, where we have a lot of emails, a lot of communication, and so that is a topic where I would like to see more people discussing about it. I think the industry just jumped on talking about how to automate the model. All this, the usual stuff that is the outcome that we know. Sorry, the output that we know, that is model, reports, the images, and the industry jump on that. That, yes, is the cool part, but I like to solve the boring things, and I think there is a massive things to do it over there. Managing email, how you can address all the big volume of email, or the possibility to go and collect all the emails on a specific topic and try to extract what's happened on the past, and then start to create knowledges on that, because we have the opportunity to retain knowledges from the project. Start to think about these stuff, create dedicated skills from the knowledges that we have from engineers that they work on that in that company for 10 years plus. That most of these information are unfortunately lost and not retaining, and that then connect to your point, the possibility of learning from there. So you start to create a library, a bank of knowledges that they can be consumed, in a different way, with an agent that goes and asks, and you can ask, has a new person in the company understand things. I think all these aspects is very interesting, and is a topic that it should be discussed a little bit more in the construction.
This episode is made possible with support from Avail. Is your firm managing architectural, landscape, interiors, and engineering content? Avail's all-in-one content management solution stretches across all disciplines, file types, and content locations, so production teams can find everything they need all in one place. Thanks to Avail's desktop application and Revit, AutoCAD, and Civil 3D plugins, teams can consistently find and reuse all types of content, from specifications and calculations to 3D models and plans. As a result, standards-compliant models and drawings are easier to create, the documentation process is less chaotic, new hires are easier to onboard, and projects are delivered faster with fewer errors. Visit getavail.com to request a demo. That's getavail.com to request a demo. My thanks to Avail for supporting this episode of the Troxel Podcast. Now let's get back to the conversation. One of the things that's really interesting to me with the kind of the Claude Code, Claude Cowork model is that it sits on your local computer. It's not, you could of course chat with it through the web as well, but I think the real secret sauce, if you want to call it that, is that it's local. And what's good about that is it's actually using local files, and it's storing its information in text files, basically, on your computer. because I think a lot of the holdback is like, I don't want to invest in a new tool because, like we said earlier on in this conversation, things are changing so fast. And so why invest into a tool when there's going to be a different, better tool in a month that I'm going to have to completely migrate to, and will I even get to bring my data along with me? And so kind of the idea of portability of the information, and that the information is being stored in text files on your system that are portable. They're yours, right? And I think that's what's so interesting, is that it's going through and it can be updating, it can be keeping these instruction sets basically current, but they're in text files on your computer, and it's very easy to just take those. And I've seen many examples now. I mean, if you search YouTube, if you wanted to move from ChatGPT to Claude Code, for example, and you wanted to bring your history with you, you actually can do that. And so, I mean, is there anything that really insightful that you have kind of in that realm of things to just kind of ease people's minds to get into, start playing with these things, because they're not actually going to be having to do it again all over from scratch in a new tool in a month, because there is this aspect of portability to these kinds of tools now?
Yeah, the aspect of distribution of this tool is great, and also, you know, Dario, the CEO, he was literally saying in a podcast a couple of days ago that is what they helped them to enter in different market very easily, because the fact that they are able to install a solution that is very small, is very easy, and it doesn't have many things that you have to control, I would say, in the surface. Because then, you know, in the moment that you start to play a little bit more with all the agent, the structure, and the things require the fact that you are learning all that aspect. But yeah, the portability of creating your agent, and you can reuse it in Codex, for example, or Gemini CLI. They are trying to standardize as much as possible. That is another aspect that is very interesting to see how these evolve, and they try to meet in a standard, meeting at one point altogether. Then, you know, at the moment we have agents MD and Claude MD, but you can make them be the same thing. But at least agents and skills start to, and particularly skills, they has been already identified as a standard, and they need to be defined in a specific way. And where they sit, and how they have been, and how you describe it. So that aspect also help. I think what scares people is that it's a CLI, and when you open a
let's
CLI,
talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you think
because
you think it's code.
Right. you think like, oh, this is like hacking computers, right? It's the very lowest level of, like, you know, the Unix, the DOS operating system, Windows. Like, you want to open PowerShell, you want to open Terminal on the Mac, whatever it is, and yeah, you just have this cursor, and it's like a blank screen, and it's kind of intimidating, right? Because, like, what are the exact commands? But I think what's so different about this is it's really forgiving versus like the traditional sense of command line interface, CLI. It's not forgiving at all. It's like, if you type the wrong thing, you could nuke your whole computer, right? Yeah. And that was always the fear, right? And now it's like, you actually just say, hey, I want to do this thing, and it's like, okay, here's what we need to do. It's not like, and it'll even ask you if you type something in, are you sure you want to do that, right? It gives you kind of, it's asking for permission, and you get to say no if it's not what you wanted. And I think that that's what kind of takes away that intimidation. But just the hurdle of opening the command line interface is so foreign to very visual people. Like, let's be honest, right? Our industry is very visual people. We like icons. We like dragging wires between nodes. We like graphical interfaces, things like that. It is a kind of a foreign concept, and that is a hurdle that needs to be overcome. And I guess we can get to the point where they've now come out with Claude Cowork, where they've actually put it in a desktop app. You can access Claude Code in a desktop app to kind of help get over that hurdle, but there's still some interesting things that you can do in the CLI interface that you can't do there. So talk about that, because I think as a developer, you were more comfortable with that, but maybe you have some insight into how people could get over that, or maybe some of the things they could try to do to get into that thing and just see what it's all about.
I would say, I think first you can, you should start with Claude Desktop is literally there. It's
a better place because it's here. Start there.
Yeah, it's there. Is more approachable, and you have everything. You can play with agents, you can play with skills, you can, and also the visualization of the information is already is managed. The how they are presented is. There is already a control on how the information tend to present and describe. Plus, as I was saying, the introduction on some specific MCP, they also able to show you or connecting with viewer or presenting graphs. So, that I think it helps. Plus, Claude Desktop has Code and now Coworker. So you can also do the same thing that you're doing in the CLI in the desktop. So in one app, and you have what they call it a project that in the CLI is more that you collect everything in a specific folder and you work on that folder specifically. So I would say start from there and start to investigate, and then that is the most approachable and less scary entry point. The CLI for me has the flexibility that I can open multiple where I want on specific folders, and also what I found very, very interesting to try was write a code that it was then reviewed by another CLI, and so
yeah, you can have one terminal window running code. You could have another one reviewing that code. You could have as many open at the same time as you want. You could maybe color code them so that you know which one's which. But yeah, that's pretty cool because you can do a lot of things at the same time then, and even further your kind of potential at as far as like what you can get done at the same time.
Yes, and I think it's also based on the final output that are you looking. So if it's more, let's say, PowerPoint or
like a Word doc or an Excel file,
exactly
PowerPoint file,
the desktop application can help you at least to visualize immediately what it could be the result, have an idea, and then it can generate it because Anthropic create all these skills to manage PDF, PowerPoint, Excel. And they are pushing a lot to enter in the Excel, to open the financial market, but potentially also for the construction industry.
Yeah. Let's just talk about that for a second. So for example, you could say, write a report based on this podcast episode that outlines the conversation that we had, and then you could say, okay, now that you have this report, and maybe you ask it to refine a few things here and there, then you can say, okay, now build me a 10-slide PowerPoint deck that puts visuals to this conversation. And then you can actually see it right there. You don't have to open it in PowerPoint. You can actually see it right there in the Claude application on your desktop. So you can see what it's building. You can interact with it. You could say, change the colors, use my brand, whatever, my brand guidelines if you have color schemes and things that you want to work with. But you can actually just see it right there. Which is, again, kind of the benefit of the desktop interface versus the command line interface, right?
On that point, if you are, you are able to see some aspect. I don't know if you are able to open fully the PowerPoint, but at least you have some ideas of what it is going to do. Or eventually, if you want images, you can again connecting to another services that create the images. You see the images that can be used. So you have, I would say, a better understanding of what is going on. Plus, it's very easy to interact with the chain of thought that is going through it because you are there. You can just open it, see what is thinking. that is possible in this ALI as well. But again, it feels a little bit more geeky. Of course, you need you need to press Control O to see it, and then come back. The different things. So I would say that is the entry point to initially try. And I see for me the interesting part is that other industry, they really start to use it for everything, and I would like to feel the same in the construction industry, that they start to use it for everything. That is not creating a model. I don't know what I have to say, but that is not the purpose is not the immediate output of what is a usual delivery, but everything that is before that
work,
can be
like the process that leads up to that, right?
Yeah, all the operational aspect that can be related on working with an agent, creating reports, reviewing reports, learning from absorbing skills from previous projects that can be reused, extracting data, passing data in communication, helping you to manage communication, recording as much as possible, so you create that work brain, where you start
the
to see
brain that you're talking about.
Yeah, the second brain, where you start to talk, where you start to see patterns in your day-to-day, and start to say, okay, maybe there is possibility to doing better this part on this automation. I know it can be a little bit naive, obviously, because there is also the aspect of security, and is not an easy integration that you can do it immediately. In the construction industry, there is also this fear of IP and data that they can leak it outside. But the only way is to try. So more we are able to create, or working in sandboxes, or environment that are protected and make people to use it, is the best way to go.
Let's take a short break from the conversation to invite you to join the most influential technology leaders in the AEC industry at Confluence. Composed of in-person events and a podcast co-hosted by yours truly, Confluence is designed to foster conversations between AEC firms and technology companies so they can learn, share, and engage with each other to support industry innovation. Software company Avail, which creates content management solutions for the AEC industry, started hosting Confluence events in 2019 to understand what firms are needing, wanting, and thinking around technology. To learn more about Confluence, explore upcoming events, and listen to podcast episodes, go to confluence.getavail.com. My thanks to Confluence for supporting this episode of the Troxel Podcast. And now, let's get back to the conversation. One of the topics that came up at the AEC Tech Conference in New York City that was put on by Thornton Tomasetti Core Studio was with Turner Construction. Turner Construction released, or gave their entire staff, I think it's like 15,000 people, access to ChatGPT, enterprise level, right? And one of the things that came out of that was that people were writing little programs to do things for themselves. So automation skills, whatever you want to call them. So this is not just like an episode all about Claude Code, right? Like there's plenty of tools out there that can do things like this. You can get them from Google, you can get them from OpenAI, you can get them from Anthropic, and I'm sure many others. But it was like, oh, there's people in accounting writing little programs to do things for them that help them be more productive, that they would have never known who to go to ask to do it. They would have never got on somebody's schedule to build that thing, right? Because every developer they're already overloaded with projects to do, right? In their current workload. And so it kind of gives that agency back to people just to solve their own problems in pretty approachable ways that we've never had the ability to do before. And I think that is just kind of an example of, it's not like you have to solve giant problems, right? And you're saying, like, let's focus on the low-hanging fruit. Let's focus on the stuff that leads up to design. Let's focus on pulling insights out of the program for the building. Let's talk about the financial aspect. Let's talk about, getting buy-in and getting all the stakeholders on board. And maybe there's ways that we can use these tools to kind of, look across all of our email and all of the planning documents and really help keep us on track. There's things like that we can use these tools for. And we can look for little things that we do all the time that take a lot of time out of our day and keep us from focusing on those probably problems that we'd rather be doing anyway, like the more challenging stuff, the bigger stuff. Take that off of our plates and put it into a little app that, there's no way I would have got a developer to build my little time tracking app or whatever it is that I needed to do for, a day-to-day basis. And it just gave people agency to be able to do that.
Yeah. And I think your point touches two things that they need to be discussed at some point. One is on give agency and a sort of empowerment of everyone to create their little automation. Then, of course, potentially from there, something you can build it up in a more, scale it at a level of a tools and the possibility of developing that tools with AI coding tools. It need to put the perception that potentially the development is going to rapidly increase inside the company, and so that is also something that I will very interesting to see how they respond and react the startup on that side, because in the moment that you have enterprises, offices that they are able to create the tools that they need, you start not to looking outside for the solution, and in particularly when the solution need to, accommodate many stakeholders, accommodate many users, and most of the time, every offices has their own to do things. So they want that application, but with a slight twist. That application, but without 60% of all the rest that they have because they don't need it. So that is a very interesting moment where you start to have these offices start to shift it and realize that they can build internally this solution. That is one point. The other point is, and it's very interesting that company allow everyone to work on OpenAI, because I believe. I would like to see more partnership with OpenAI or Anthropic from the construction side. Maybe they are happening, but they are not, visible or shared across. What at the moment is happening is more that these two giants are partnering with other industry, and so they are going very vertical in this industry where they don't have the skills, but what they provide is the platform, and so that is the advantage. If you partner with these guys, you have the platform, you have all or most of the building blocks to create automation, to create custom agents that your employees can use it, and then on top of that, you can create more little building blocks and knowledges that are useful for your company. So I think, also that start to thinking on platform side, create that level of knowledge, create that level of building blocks to allow you to then develop a series of commodities tools that we know at some point everyone is going to have it. That is the thing.
You just reminded me of like everybody's stadium generator, right? Like
exactly.
It was totally IP, totally like this is our thing, and everybody's built one, right? So it's not actually IP. It's like everybody's got the same. They ended up, taking all the time it takes to learn how to do that, and then to build it and to deploy it when somebody's already built that tool, right? Like that, there's something wrong with that situation.
Yeah, no. So I'm looking to these two aspects very in a very interesting way. In particularly, how is going to impact that development process internally and also with external relation from startup, or how the startup they're going to react on that.
Interesting kind of maybe tangent is just about like the sharing process with this technology. And so you've talked about skills, right? And you can basically publish your skills to GitHub, and other people could just, in the command line interface, just install it. You can just copy and paste the command in, and it just pulls that skill into your instance of Claude Code, for example, or Codex or whatever. So can you talk about how that works? And because going back to the Grasshopper example, yeah, you could like package your stuff into a cluster, and then you could put that cluster on the server, and somebody could download and put that cluster into their Grasshopper, and then they could use it. That was kind of a process, right? I think we've definitely taken a lot of the friction out of that process with this, but it's kind of the same idea where it's like you can package up a skill, and then other people can use that skill. And you could update that skill on your GitHub, and then they would be able to pull those updates down, right? Like the interconnectedness and the ease of sharing, like the friction is way less than it ever used to be with this kind of thing.
Yeah, and are very similar in a sort of in the sort of concept with, when you package or an extra plugin for a Grasshopper or Dynamo. And I think they need to work in that direction, in the sense that need to be generic to be consumed by everyone. And so this is where you see the development industry and also the product industry in general, the software product industry, that they start to create so many skills, because they have the advantage that they can create generic skills for development, and you have many languages, so C#, Python, JavaScript, C++, many, and that skills are tailored to review code, help you to write code, help you to write test, review test, and are generally created based on standards and knowledges that are known, are from ages used by any developer. I was trying to do the same for this industry when I create the repository where I start to collect in command prompts, agents, whatever. But then I start to realize that the problem is exactly on that abstraction, and the difficulty is to create skills that can be abstract to everyone. And so apart that the construction industry is very reluctant to share in general, it's very it's very difficult to have a community that openly share, because obviously there are restrictions, and try not to expose IPs and things. But that is where a skill or an agent is start to become complicated to share, because or you tailor your skill on how you work and what you are looking, or otherwise in the moment that you make it more generic, I don't think it's going to have the same impact that it has for, it can work generically, okay? It can work like a library in Grasshopper, or a general library that they do function in a more generic way, or the library is very specific for doing one thing specifically. But at that point, the risk is that you are literally, releasing your extra knowledge that potentially you don't want. But yeah, for me, the concept is very similar. So I would say there is a great possibility to create that libraries internally, where you start to retain that knowledges, that way of working, and start and potentially arrive to a point where just chatting, you start to chain a list of skills and agents that they do a full work for you based exactly on every step that you need. I don't know exactly. Maybe some some workflow from 5 people or other part of the industry. But I would say, in the moment that potentially you work on Excel, you do some operation in Excel that help you to define some information or design or identify some principle that where the result is a report.
Mm-hmm.
That it can be literally, transformed in a series of skills with specific code that need to interact with the Excel, with logic inside that code. And so in that moment, your interaction is no more an Excel with multiple with a function and operation, and you have these Excel that they fly everywhere, but you have one centralized skill that does the same. It does the same things, and you can reuse it. So that shift is it would be interesting. Plus, centralizing these things, they can be also shared and distributed easily because, as you were saying, you just store it in GitHub, for example, and you can just install it very easily from there. There are other marketplaces now created by company as Manus or Verso, and they collect a series of skills that you can install. But if you go and search, are very software-driven skills.
Not AEC-driven skills, yeah.
No, and I think it will be very difficult to have it. That is the point.
Sure. Yeah, too specific. So it is interesting to kind of think about the way that we operate nowadays, where it seems like information is shared so much more freely than it ever has been before, but there's still like this kind of clinging on to the old way of don't share stuff, don't let it out, because there are there's legitimate reasons for that, but there's also kind of a blanket statement wrapped around everything. It's like you can't share anything because that's our IP. You and I have probably both seen examples where that is starting to free up more and more in our industry, but it's still not quite there yet, right? To where the industry benefits across the board from these kinds of developments. Each firm is really protective over its own internal developments. Do you have any thoughts about that, or just insights on what you see happening out there, or maybe where you see things going when it comes to this? Because I feel like this is one of the reasons our industry is, quote unquote, I'm using my podcast air quotes here, behind other industries, is just kind of this real reluctance to put ideas out there and keep them internally. What do you think about that whole situation?
I think sometimes we need to make a clear distinction of talking about adopting technology openly, talking about possibility of what technology can help the industry, separated from the idea that is an IP. So sometimes most of these two conversations, they blend together, because I think there is a bit of unclarity on some level of in the construction industry, where showing the technology because it's related maybe as use case, then you have you are showing something that is very related to the IP. I believe the IP for the industry is literally the workflow, how you design things. What are your strategy to design the things? What is the knowledges that you learn from the previous work and you operate to make your design difference, or your process, or how you interact with the client in a different way, how you make the client comfortable with the decision that you took based on the infrastructure that on the workflow that you have on making decision. Okay, that I think is where your IP sits, in that level of differentiation, but is not on talking on showing the possibility of technology that can free up some stuff that can democratize, that can help the industry to do something better. I don't think, showing a large language model extracting data from from a Revit model is giving away any IP. Mm-hmm. It's just showing to the industry, now we can do it that. So it means that go and start to thinking how you can reshuffle your way of working, rethinking your workflow in a different way, because now we can do it. And I think free up this level of conversation, it will help industry moving a little bit in a different way, even if I know it's very constrained for multiple different aspects.
It seems like a scarcity mindset, right? Like the idea of sharing versus not sharing is we can't share because we're so bred to compete, right? And there's only a little bit out there to compete for. The pie is very small. Instead of that kind of, abundance mindset of like, there's plenty of work for everybody. And to me, the thing that you're saying is that the IP is very much on the human side of things. It's very much on like the values, the communication, what matters to us when it comes to design, what matters to our client, and how we make that happen that's the IP. Like that, and that is all about the people inside of the firm and how they operate and the way that they think and what they care about, right? Rather than the tools they use to get the work done.
Yeah. And I will say also the data they are going to become more and more really your advantage, your IP, if you want to call it, or if you want to add it in that bucket.
Your leverage.
That is your leverage. The quality of the data that you have, that you use to, as I was saying, make comfortable the client in the decision, showing why you arrived to that decision, or you use for the next project, or you use to learning, or you use to retain your knowledge. That is the real advantage. But it's not. It's not the technology that make you manage that advantage. I think are two different things, but most of the time in this industry are blended, because if we show how we quickly modify something in a model, we focus on the fact that the outcome is the model, because the tendency is that the outcome is in the model, and so we think that is the advantage of that company, be faster or modify something. But for me, the interesting part is, the IP is how they arrive to be at that point to be faster. That is their IP, and you don't know. But the technology that they use it and how they show it, how they use that technology to be faster, that is interesting, because they show adoption or possibility or opening or experimentation that this industry need. And it happened. That is for me, the funny part is happen in this industry every day, every time, everywhere. There is a proliferation and a generation of idea and solving problems that we have every day that is unbelievable, but is very little shared. And just because we have this idea that automating one thing is IP. I don't know. There is, also that aspect of identify what is a commodity. As we were saying, the stadium generator. At some point, everyone knows that there was a stadium generator, but everyone has their parameter to create the stadium generator. So we can talk clearly about that there is a generator, or we need a generator. Okay, how you do it? That generator is on you internally, but I don't see any problem on talking about how you are able to create a generator with the technology that you have and why you think is the right solution. For example, talking about why solution can be valuable for the industry, I think, is a very interesting sharing point. Coming back to the multi-agent story that we were talking about at the beginning, that exploded in the industry, the open cloud. So, it's just experimentation, but made people start to talk about that, start to realize that there is the possibility of, not the possibility, start to make multi-agents working in a different way, or we are very close to have a way of interaction with multi-agent in something that it can be integrated on application as OpenAI and whatever. But that open a conversation, open a realization of something, it made a step where, okay, from there we move on. It doesn't mean that it's perfect. It doesn't mean that it's going to have an immediate impact, but it's something. That is
progress.
That is what I feel we should be a little bit more open in the conversation.
Well, Mirco, I love that as a final thought. And so thank you so much for the conversation today. I'll put links to everything we talked about in the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Very fun. Thanks, Evan.
If you watched all the way to the end, thank you. That actually means a lot. I have 2 things I'd ask of you before you go. 1, hit subscribe right now if you haven't already. It's totally free. It takes 1 click, and I'm really trying to get to 1,500 subscribers. We're not there yet, and every single one counts. If this show has been worth your time, that's the easiest thing you can do. Number 2, if you want to go further, if you want to support independent coverage of this industry and get ad-free episodes of the podcast, plus my full Leadership Edge newsletter, head over to trxl.co and click the join button. The link is in the show notes. $12 a month, and you'll be one of the people who actually makes this possible. All right, that's a wrap. Subscribe, share it with someone who would get it, and I'll see you in the next one.